First game up, it's we're still trying to learn about the surface. Yes, traditionally there's a bit of turn there. It does look dry, so how much pace is in there will be a question. We'll still have to learn about it as well. We played earlier in the week, but the nature of the surface has changed. So even though it's a home game, it still takes a little bit of time to understand the home conditions.
You have your home advantage. How important to start on a good note and then carry the momentum?
Yeah, it is important. So there's a real emphasis on starting the tournament well. Last year we won a couple of games that could have easily gone the other way, but it did a lot for the team as we were getting back together. So we know the importance of a good start in the IPL. There's no extra pressure on the game. It's just that you want to start a tournament well and get into the rhythms of playing well. So that's what we'll concentrate on. We're certainly not desperate to win the first game and it being at home. It's just an opportunity that we look forward to.
Yes, sir.
I believe Virat have got the picture channel arrived today. So are they available but also quick word on Kohli's absence and any replacements and how soon they are participate?
Yes, well, Satna, Faf is here, Tahir is due imminently, and Mitch as well. So they will, it should be available if they've travelled well, be available for selection or discussion. And Giddy's a big loss. He was the find of last year for us, and he bowled very well, and we were looking forward to having him for a majority of the tournament. It's one of those things, we've got a squad that can cover it, but sometimes players are a little bit special and do some things that we really value, and he was one of those. So the onus just goes on the other players and overseas options. We're taking our time with the replacement at the moment, just to look at the balance of our side and an area that we can improve, or a player that we want to fit into the game plan that we finish on. The game plan you start with isn't always the one that you finish up with. So we're taking our time with it and making sure we make a measured decision.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about RCB captain Virat. He's one-handed with India, but over the last 12 seasons he hasn't been able to win the IPL, and he's received some criticism for that. Do you think, that's something that will be counted against him, like how do you look at his IPL track record?
Well, one man doesn't win the IPL. It's a very tough competition to win, and it's getting tougher because teams are a lot smarter. Players are now more conditioned to what playing in the IPL is about, and coaches and managers are getting more shrewd in how they buy and put together teams. So just because you got probably the best batter in the world, one of the best players in the world, it doesn't mean that he's going to have success with the IPL. There's a number of things that go towards it. One thing I do know about Virat is when there's a challenge put in front of him, most times he meets it. So his expectation with this team will be to give it a good run, I'm sure, as most other franchises will be wanting. But it's winning competitions is a byproduct of how your team goes and leading your team. So there's a challenge there. But as I say, we think they're an excellent team this year already. Looking at paper, most teams on paper look outstanding. So we're going to have our work cut out for us to win it again, but we'll be giving it a good shake as well.
There's been a lot of rise of wrist spinners over the last 2 years in their over cricket. As a coach, do you think there's a particular reason right-handed batsmen in particular are finding it hard to play wrist spin?
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons. One is that there's a lot of younger players now on a big stage who maybe haven't played as much first-class cricket or developed the skills that used to go along with an apprenticeship with batting. And part of the batsmanship that certainly my era and before was about reading bowlers and watching the ball. Now it's a little bit more about power and ball striking. So there's a lot more emphasis on the power game and how aggressive and where you score, whereas probably my era and others was about defence first. So there's been a big shift in the way young players play the game, and a lot of those players are now emerging and playing big parts in the IPL. Wrist spinners got clever as well. They play a role where the batsman has to be aggressive, and so they can't just be sat on. So players have to take a risk. So again, look at back before T20, you could take your time with wrist spin. Now you've got to be aggressive, and if the ball you aren't sure either way, then it can be it can be your downfall. So they're effective because they go both ways and can hit both outside edges of the bat. And caught on the boundary or deceived through the air is their major weapon. So they've got very smart with it, and I don't see it changing quickly either. I think it's they're good weapons to have.
I just want to know, now that the IPL is in 12th year, whether club-based or franchise-based competitions are now will start mirroring those of other sports. Where I'm coming to is, will a team like CSK that hasn't changed as much as some of the other teams know what it takes to beat RCB, given the record that you have against them and the fact that you pulled off some very close finishes in the past? So do you think there's a sort of recall value that can now, kind of come in to fixtures like CSK versus RCB?
Well, experience counts in our camp, and we bought, as you guys said last year, a very old side, but prefer to look at it as an experienced side because recall does count. And being able to stand up to pressure situations and recall how you dealt with them in the past is a key component in a fast-moving game. Our players are still very skillful, but that experience to us counts, and if that is in part answering your question, then yeah, I value that a lot because the methods in which you win or compete are very important if you can keep repeating them.